welcome back to my channel and thanks so much for clicking on today's video. If you are new here, this is not my regular voice. I had travelled, picked up a bug, was talking a lot and has kind of strained my voice, so it's a little bit off, but I hope it's not going to be super annoying, and when I'm editing this video I think it's worth it and I won't just go ahead and delete it. Hi to all my returning subscribers and thank you so much for your patience with me. I know I haven't been on YouTube for months. I know people usually talk about breaks from YouTube like, oh no, I've been on here for like 10 days. No, I haven't been on for months, and I thought that I would do a nice, really easy video to kind of ease myself back into the flow of things, to basically do a get ready with me, play around with some new makeup, show you some of the new bits that I've got as I'm using them, and kind of fill you in on where I've been over the past few months. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then just keep watching. And if you're happy that I'm back and I'm finally remaking videos, then please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and yeah, let's just get started. So as with almost all my videos, I have already kind of like started work on my eyebrows, but I haven't done the whole concealer gig underneath them, so that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm just grabbing some concealer, and I think I want to go quite light because the look that I want to do today is not fully dramatic, but kind of. So I'm going in with Colourpop concealer in the shade Dark 40. Don't be alarmed, there's going to be colour going on top of this, so it won't look as scary as it's about to right now. So yeah guys, I have been missing from YouTube for a couple of months, and at first I really beat myself up about it, but it got to a point where I just kind of allowed myself to have the time off. And honestly, I really and truly needed it. So if you follow me on Instagram, then you'll have seen me posting on stories and things. I haven't really been posting also on my timeline, but I have been on stories, so you guys know I'm alive and I'm fine. But yeah, I haven't really been posting on my feed and haven't really been posting on YouTube at all. The reason was life just got absolutely crazy, you guys. I went back to work from maternity leave in February. Actually went back a couple of weeks early because my boss was going on her own maternity leave and we needed some time to do handover in between. Yes, so if you're new here, I'm not a full-time content creator. I have a full-time 8 to 5 job, and I make my videos kind of in my free time, on my spare time, on weekends or on mornings if I get up a bit earlier, or kind of like after work and stuff. So yeah, I finished maternity leave in February and headed back to the office. So getting back to the office, initially it was alright, as I tried to kind of like understand what was going on, but then it just got crazy, and it got crazy really fast. So I was doing my own role, which I was coming back into from maternity leave, and already mothers out there, you know, going back to work when you've been on leave, on maternity leave, is kind of I don't know what the word is, jarring. It kind of like smacks you in the face because you think that you can do it just kind of the same way that you were, but you really can't, because you're not sleeping well. Even if your baby is sleeping fairly well, which my daughter was at the time, still it's not 100%, and your sleeping pattern is kind of ruined, but you still have to go to work for pretty much a full day and then do everything and still be a functioning human being. Honestly, it messes you up. So that was like number one, trying to just get back into the groove of things and be a working mum. 2 was that the work that I was handling was starting to become progressively more intense. And then third of all, I was actually standing in for my boss. So I basically was doing 2 full-time jobs, being a new, just fresh back from maternity leave and all of that. So it was very, very much, and very quickly I realized that I just couldn't do it all. So I'm going to be using a mix of different palettes during this tutorial, and I'll make sure to give you all the deets and everything. But first I want to show you this, my new palette from Coloured Rain. It's the Queen of Hearts palette. It is absolutely gorgeous. Just look at that. I hesitated about buying this palette, but then I ended up getting it, and I'm so happy that I did, because the quality of these shadows is like no other shadow that I have tried before. It is just so premium, so beautiful, really, really nice. I've used this a couple of times over the past week and I'm loving it, and I just want to start working this into my transition. So I'm going to go into this shade here in the corner. It's called Air, and it's a light peachy colour, and I'm just going to start working this in quite high up onto my brow bone. Alright, and then just underneath that I'm going into the next shade here, which is called Royal Prerogative. It's a light medium brown, and I'm just using another pencil brush for this. And I'm just going to put this in basically immediately under the shade that I've already laid down. But I'm still keeping this quite high up, so it's still pretty much into my brow. Just working that across where I want it, and then I'm going to go in and blend it just immediately after that. Yeah, so work was just absolutely ridiculous, and trying to juggle everything just became a little bit too difficult for me, and I just had to say, do you know what, Olivia, you can't do it all. You are not a superhero. Just relax. And there were so many times when I would just be like, oh, I would like to film a video, or it would be in my mind that I should film a video. It's like, oh gosh, I haven't been on for 2 weeks. Oh gosh, I haven't been on for 3 weeks. You know, I should film a video. And there was actually a time when I just kind of almost forced myself to sit down and film a video. But then when I went to edit it, honestly, the quality was so bad, because my heart wasn't in it, because I was just so tired, so distracted, trying to deal with a baby that was kind of also trying to readjust with her mum not being around, you know, for most of the day. So it just became a little bit too much, and I just said to myself, do you know what, just take some time off. When it feels right, you will be okay to do this. Like, you'll be okay, and you'll get back into it, and it will feel natural and it will feel normal. So I just kind of allowed myself to let that go off my shoulders. I did put a lot of pressure on myself, because I had had a bit of inconsistency before, and I know that I want to put in work to be able to share, you know, the ideas that I have and the content ideas that I have. But if I don't do it well and I don't do it consistently, and this was the thing that was kind of on my head, then people aren't really going to engage with my content, and it's going to kind of be for nothing. So I was in kind of 2 minds for a while. But then I just said to myself, do you know what, it's not the end of the world. It will work out when it works out. Take the time off that you need and come back when you are feeling like you are back in the zone. So that's why I'm back. I mean, I'm feeling like I can now get back in the zone. My boss is back. I've handed over pretty much everything that I needed to hand over. I'm only focusing on my projects. So I can do this. I can actually get back to doing what I really love to do, which is filming these videos and sharing and talking about things that I love with you guys. So thank you so much for being so patient with me, and thank you so much to people that subscribed and joined even when I wasn't putting anything up. So if you're a new subscriber and you're joining, wonderful. Like, thank you so much for, yeah, taking a chance, believing in the channel, even though I wasn't putting anything up at the time. I guess you've been watching old videos, but I'm back now. So hopefully going forward, we'll see a bit of an improvement in that area, shall we say? All right, yes, quick change right there. Switched up the settings on the camera. You can tell how long it's been since I filmed. I was looking at it and I was like, that looks a little bit ashy. What is going on? Figured it out, all right? Okay, so now back into my look. So I'm going into Huda Cosmetics Stargirl Edition palette. I really love this one colour in the corner. It's called Dakar. It's like a blood red. It's just so beautiful, and I really wish that they would make that in a single because I would buy it. It's a shade that I haven't found in any of the other palettes that I have, and I just really like it. Yeah, so one of the other things that kept me off camera, by the way, was also just a little bit of insecurity. I know you would think, a woman at my big age, how do things still bother you, Olivia? Like, haven't you gone through all of the rubbish that we went through in our 20s? You're still insecure? Yes, I am still very insecure. My face erupted and I don't know how else to explain this, aside from it was very similar to the way my face reacted when I got pregnant. No, I'm not pregnant, but it did. So, I mean, you can see some of the remnants of the blemishes. So I had a breakout on this cheek, breakout on this cheek, it kind of went up to my forehead. I mean, my face just looked horrific. And I just didn't feel confident enough to come in front of camera and to talk to you guys about beauty and makeup when my face was looking as, in my opinion, bad as it was. And I am admittedly a bit of a vain person. Not vain in terms of my whole entity and my whole being, but about how I look, and particularly my face. So I think that kind of stems from high school days. I've always been the chubby girl, I've always been the bigger girl. If you don't know, go back and check some of my styling videos, you'll see what kind of size I am. I'm not a petite girl. I am also not petite in height. I am quite tall. So I'm broad, I'm big, I'm curvy. So that always had kind of made me very self-conscious about my physical appearance, particularly growing up in the UK as I did. I don't know, I just wasn't exposed to so many bodies that looked like mine. I feel as though my mental health as regards how I feel about my body and my insecurities got a lot better when I relocated to Kenya and was here and was kind of consuming, or sorry, not consuming the stuff that I would consume in the UK. All the magazines that would talk about weight, literally on every single cover. All the adverts, all the chat was always about losing weight, doing this and doing that and doing the other. So I've always been kind of self-conscious about the way that I look physically. So my saving grace, and I'm being really honest with you guys, but my saving grace per se has always been that I have a good looking face. And I'm not being braggy when I say that. I just know or think that I have a fairly good looking face. You know, I'm not an ugly girl. I can make myself look really amazing with makeup. So when my face goes to shit, that makes me, like, it's like the one thing that I've got going for me. So if that doesn't work, I should qualify that, asterisk, the one thing that I've got going for me physically, right? So if that goes to the dogs, then it makes me really self-conscious about my whole appearance, because I'm not 100% happy with the way that I look physically in terms of my body size. I don't mind my shape, but my body size, yeah, still plagues me. I'm just going into my Morphe 350M palette, and I'm going into this shade right here in the corner. It's a kind of mid-toned, i.e. not too cool, not too warm, deep brown shade. And I'm just going to start working this into the crease. Which is something else as well that I found a little bit difficult actually. So yeah, my daughter is very kind of, I'd say, on edge for any time that I leave her, because I've had to travel and basically leave her overnight or for a couple of nights a few times now since I resumed work, and it's not been easy. I mean, or rather it's gotten progressively harder. So the first time I left her, it was only for a night, flew into Addis, and came back the next day, so it was just one night. The second time I was away, I was only technically away for the day, and I was going to Addis again, but I took the 5 a.m. flight in the morning that goes Ethiopian Airways into Addis. So I basically left her while she was still asleep, so she didn't see me that whole day. And then I came back on the evening flight, the last flight, which leaves Addis at around 11 p.m. and gets in at like 1 a.m. So basically 2 kind of nights she didn't really see me. So basically like kind of almost like 2 nights she didn't see me. And then my most recent trip, I've just been in Hargeisa, and that was actually for quite a long time. So I left on a Saturday morning, and then I came back on a Thursday evening. So that's the longest that we've actually spent time apart, and we were doing video calling and all of that the entire time through. But she doesn't quite get the concept. So she can see her mum in the phone and she gets excited, but then she looks behind the phone, or like my husband was telling me that she would like peep around the phone and see whether she can actually find me behind the phone. So for her, I don't think the concept quite clicked. So the video calling thing, as much as I could see her, because I was craving, you know, seeing her and things, for her, it was kind of just like, yeah, but mummy's not here, even though we were talking. So she still felt like she missed me and she hadn't seen me at all. So since I've been back, she's been very clingy, very kind of aware to the fact that I'm like leaving her with her nanny. Even if I'm just going upstairs like now to film a video, she freaks out. So it's been a challenging few days since I've been back, trying to basically reassure her that I'm not going anywhere and that I'm still here, but it's not easy. So I don't know, any mums that are watching this with young babies who travelled before their baby was like a toddler age, how have you hacked it? How have you managed to do that? Of course, I've been trying to minimize the time that I'm away as much as possible. But I mean, with some things you just can't and you have to go away. So yeah, drop me some tips, leave some comments down below. I'd love to know how you're handling that. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and cut my crease. So I'm just looking for the right brush. And I'm going in with the Makeup Revolution concealer, and this one is literally white. Like, I'm not kidding you. It is the shade 0.1. It is stark white, but I really like the formula of this for cutting the crease, because it's thick enough, heavy enough to kind of do what it needs to do. It has a very slight pink undertone, this concealer, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, it literally just looks so pale on my skin that doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to cut this crease, and I can't talk through this, so I'm just going to fast forward. Okay, so I've done kind of like a half cut crease. I've not gone all the way in because I'm going to smoke out that corner anyway. But I want to go in with a shadow onto my lid, and I'm going to use this palette here. It's an old one. It's basically a dupe of the Morphe one, literally the same exact packaging. I could call it the exact same thing. If you are looking for it in Morphe, I don't know whether they still sell it, but it's the 35p, the purple palette. So this side is like purely purple, and then it's got like cool tone browns and creams and stuff on this side. So the shade that I want to go into is, I'm going to start off with this one over here, and I'm just picking up a fluffy shader brush and lifting up as much colour as I can, and I'm just going to start packing that onto my lid. I'm doing this kind of like in the middle of my lid, where I've done the cut crease. Sorry, the middle of the cut crease, not the middle of my lid. And then right next to it, I'm going into, so I've used this colour just now, and I'm going into this colour right here. It probably looks flat on camera, but it's not flat. It actually has, it's a brown with kind of like tiny purple glitters in it. But it's kind of like a medium taupey brown, sorry, a deep taupey brown. I'm just going to use that on the outer part of my lid. For the innermost part of my lid, I'm going into this Juvia's Place palette. It's called the Warrior, and I'm going to use this shade in the middle. It's called Moremi. It's like a really nice, I want to say almost rose gold, but really not. It's like an interesting colour. I don't really know how to describe it. And I'm going in with another shader brush, fluffy one, and I'm just going to lay that colour right there in the innermost part of the cut crease. And then I'm going to try and blend those first two colours in together. I'm going to smoke out the outer corner right here, so I'm going back into my Morphe palette and back into that really deep dark brown, and I'm just going to use it to blend out that outer corner and just make it a little bit more deep, add a little bit more depth into it, just to smoke it out a bit. Alright, so bear with me as I go off camera. I'm going to finish up basically this eye to the same stage, and then I'll come back and we can keep chatting. Alrighty, I am back. Alright, so I just feel like I want to add back a little bit of that red that we lost earlier, but I'm a little bit scared about how deep this is because I don't want to go in so heavy. So literally I'm going to mix in this other red shade called Douala. Yes, and Dakar with a fluffy shader brush, and I am tapping off the excess because I really don't want to go in heavy. You can see just a little tiny bit on that brush, and I'm just going up above that crease. I feel like this is going to look flawless with that just extra little bit of a red there. That's really what I wanted to do. And then just switching the brush to the other side, the clean side, to blend. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it for now. We'll come back to the eyes as per usual when I'm doing the rest of my face. I have already put on primer, and I have used the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. The foundation that I'm using is new, or at least new to my channel. I haven't used it yet on this channel. This is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and I got the shade Tiramisu. I have used this already, like off camera, but I thought I'd use it on here today with you so that you can see what the colour match is. Like if you use me for a colour match, then at least you can have a look at what this shade looks like if you've been interested in this. I'm just going to put one pump onto a flat kabuki brush and then just start to dab that across my face. Do you all have a colour match, by the way? Like somebody, a colour reference or a colour match? Somebody who you follow for shade references. So like if they wear a foundation, then 9 times out of 10 it will also match you. Do you have that person? My person is the owner of Cocoa Swatches on Instagram. If you don't follow Cocoa Swatches, I don't know what you're doing as a woman of colour, because they have basically all the new releases, all the new foundations, all the new eyeshadows. They will swatch them on dark skin so that you can get an idea of what that would look like something closer to your skin tone. Like, especially if you're close to my skin tone, it is pretty hard to find people online who are a similar shade to you, that you can kind of use as a reference. So I use her as a reference, and pretty much 9 times out of 10, we are bang on the same shade. So based on her swatches on her skin tone, I also decided to go with Tiramisu. I have a, in my opinion, it goes on the right colour when I'm first applying it, but as it kind of dries down, it draws a little bit to the redder side and a little bit deep. So what I find is that I'm wearing this on my face, and you can see kind of looking at my neck, at my chest, because that's kind of what I match to. It's a little bit deeper than that. So what I'll do when I'm wearing this foundation is that I will, I don't need to bronze. I don't need to bronze the perimeter, because the perimeter of this is deep enough to kind of match up to everything else I'm doing, unless I want to add some kind of level of shine to my face. Yeah, and so the foundation is really good. I really like it. I like wearing it with a bit of a mattifying primer, just because it's a little bit kind of like, not dewy, but it's somewhere like, it's not matte, right? Okay, so I like to put it with a little bit of a matter base, just so that I can balance it out and get the finish that I want. But I've been liking this so far. I'm glad I've added that to my collection. All right, time for concealer, and I'm going in with my Makeup Revolution concealer in the shade C13, which, by the way, if you've been looking for this colour, because I use it and we haven't had it on Cocoon Beauty, it's restocking soon, so just keep your eye out and you can cop it. And I'm just going on top of that with Colourpop's Dark 40 just in the corner, to add a little bit of extra highlight, because I'm feeling like my face is looking a little bit dark. So back to my absence from YouTube and social media in general. I think, aside from the insecurity stuff, which kind of comes and goes, by the way, let me not make it out like it's a constant struggle for me. I'm always feeling, you know, super insecure about the way that I look. Honestly, most of the time I'm not, but I do have periods where I do feel a bit crappy or not my best. So the other thing that was keeping me off, aside from that, was actually just a creative, I don't know if you want to call it a roadblock or a slump or a what. Like, I had ideas for videos, but then when I kind of sat down and thought to myself, all right, I could film this, like I should film this, I just didn't feel as excited about filming some of those videos. And I didn't want to just film a video for, you know, just the sake of it, because I feel like that comes across when you watch a video. When you're used to watching somebody and their energy levels are a certain way, and then you tune in and their energy levels have like changed or, you know, shifted somewhat, I feel like that comes across. And I don't want to film videos just for the sake of filming videos, like just so that I can have something up, throw you kind of like a half-assed idea or something that I'm really not into. So I decided to just kind of wait it out and see, because I knew it was just kind of like a phase that I was going through, and it was definitely stress from like work stuff and trying to juggle everything and be the best at everything, which I struggle with as a person. So once I kind of just was like, do you know what, Olivia, take some time out, it will come. I found that eventually my energy has picked up, and here I am, and I'm feeling really good. Even though I don't sound so good, I am feeling really good. I'm feeling just super excited to start making videos again. I've got some ideas jotted down, like, you know, I'm really into it. So I am feeling really good about my energy levels and my kind of like, yeah, my creativity at the moment. So that was part of the reason why I was off, and I'm just really happy that that's kind of like rebalanced, and I've reconfigured myself and found myself again, and now I'm back. Yeah. Alright, so for under eye setting powder, I'm going in with the Laura Mercier powder. If you watched my last video, I raved about this powder. I'm still obsessed with it. I've been using it non-stop. Just because I'm not filming videos, by the way, doesn't mean I'm not wearing makeup. I wear makeup almost every day. It's a bit ridiculous. When my skin is like glowing and like absolutely beautiful, I don't feel the need to wear makeup. Maybe I'll just put on some powder and some concealer, but I wouldn't necessarily do a full face. But you know, you girl was going through it, so you know, a full face has kind of been not necessary, but necessary. Okay, all right, so I've just set my under eyes. They just feel so good and so silky. This powder is just that girl. Like honestly, get this powder in your life. This colour or the translucent one if you want like a super brightening effect, or you're a bit lighter than me and this would be way too dark for you, then I would still 100% recommend getting this powder. It's pricey, yes, but once you try it, you'll see why it costs what it costs, if that makes sense. Like it makes sense why it's more expensive. It just is that girl, you know? Okay, right, I'm just gonna go in with some Fix Plus because I was looking a little bit powdery and cakey. This is also a re-up, not new in, but I've bought a new bottle very recently. My old one is here, all the way done. So I bought this again. I always, when I finish a Fix Plus bottle, I'm always like, is it worth it? Like, is it that good of a setting spray? Like, do I need it? But I feel like alongside all of my other setting sprays that I have, most of which are for like mattifying. So I have my Scandinavia one, I have my NYX one, which I can't see right now. And I buy other setting sprays. You just always need some Fix Plus in your life. It is just that girl, you know? She comes through, she refreshes, she kind of just makes everything meld together. I think that you need it, okay? I think that you need it. So this powder, as I mentioned in my last video, is kind of like almost my skin tone, and I can use it as an all-over setting powder. I use it under my eyes just when I don't want too much of a super brightness under my eyes, because it's so much of a similar colour to kind of my skin tone that sometimes when you want that brightening, especially if you haven't used a more dramatic concealer that's like a few shades lighter, it will kind of just blend in. So right now, because I'm doing this makeup for, it's still daytime but going out in the evening, so I want to go in with something brighter, and that's where this comes in. This is a Makeup Revolution powder in the shade Terracotta. It looks scary in the bottle, but for me, this is the perfect shade for me to use under my eyes to do that kind of brightening, highlighted look without it looking ashy, right? So a lot of shades look ashy on me, and I've been trying to figure out what I need. All these banana powders are not yellow enough. This is kind of like orangey yellow, and it looks so good on my skin tone. I'm going to show you now. So I've just put a little bit into the cap right here, and I'm using a tapered brush. I'm just picking some of that up, and then I'm just going to go in and lightly add some to my under eye, okay? This is honestly a little bit like Crepe City, because we've got so much powder and product on under the eyes, but do you see the difference? Do you see the difference in terms of brightness? It just gives me that extra lift that other banana powders haven't been able to do. I am going to look for a shade that's similar to this in the Ben Nye powders. I believe that there is probably one that can match this. Not the banana, one of the other colours. So I'm going to look for that, because I've been wanting to try the Ben Nye powders for ages, literally for years, when they first became hot on YouTube eons ago. But banana obviously just has never been my shade, so I just never copped it. But now I feel like I can get involved, you all. Yes, I can. Okay, so I'm going to go back in again with Fix Plus, because it's just necessary, so that I'm not looking super powdery, okay? All right. Right, I want to put some blush on, and this is new in. I haven't been on YouTube, but I've been buying makeup, that's for sure. So this is from Black Up. It's the shade number 10. It's the blush, single blush. It's just a really, really nice, warm, browny red shade. It's just so pretty. I really, really like it. I picked it up from the sale that was going on at Kenrail Towers by, God, what's this store called in Nairobi? Linton's. So Linton's was having a sale. They had all these makeup brands, and I picked up this because Black Up is usually very expensive, but they are really good quality, and it was on sale, so I was like, yes, I'm getting it, and I really, 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 really like it. So if you're looking for a kind of warmy, reddy brown shade and you haven't found one, I would highly recommend this. So I'm just going in with a fluffy brush, and I'm just going to add this to the lower portion of my cheeks and into my hairline. This is actually quite pigmented, so just use a light hand, don't go in too hard. Okie doke. Looking good. I feel like I want to add some contour. I'm not doing bronzer, but I feel like I want to add some contour. So I'm grabbing this unicorn kind of brush. I've had this for years. I think I bought it from Keely Mall or whatever, eons ago, literally. And I'm going to go into the Morphe palette. So I'm going to use this shade over here because it's a little bit more cool toned. Just dabbing in and literally just dabbing it onto my face like that. And then working it in. I'm not bringing it all the way in because that's going to be a little bit too dramatic. I'm kind of just keeping it here for like about 2 inches worth, and then blending that in to my hairline. Quick pause as I go and do my lashes and my liner, and be back to finish this up. Alrighty, so I am back, lashes on, liner on. Let me just tell you what I have used. So the lashes I've used are these, and they're a brand called Dita Mora Cosmetics. We stock these over on Cocoon Beauty, 750 shillings per pair. They are really, really good lashes. They are kind of like 3D, so they're layered on top of each other, so they're nice and fluffy. And yes, they are dramatic, so if you are not into like dramatic lashes, then maybe these are a bit much for you. But if you are into drama and you want to kind of embody the extraness that is this look, then I would totally recommend these. And we have them in 2 styles. So this is the D2 and then there's the D1. D1 has more of a cat eye shape, so it's like small, 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 and then it goes bigger, 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 bigger towards the end. Whereas this one is kind of just like the same all the way across. And it's like super double layered. I am obsessed. Okay. So what I did is just basically put on some simple liner, whack on these lashes, and then I've added a little bit of black liner to my waterline, and then popped on some mascara on the bottom. And then I've used that same shade from the Warrior palette by Juvia's Place, Moreni, which I used earlier on my lid just to kind of add a bit of extra highlight to my inner corner. Alright, so now I want to move on to my lips. And so line your lips, people. Number 1, line your lips. And I'm using my Colourpop liner in the shade Control. It's a really nice deep brown shade, and I really like these lip liners because they are kind of like a creamy gel consistency, so they don't drag or tug or pull on the lips. They are literally so easy to put on. And as well, so say you've got a lipstick on and then you need to retouch your liner afterwards, you can do this on top because it's so creamy, like you don't have to struggle. So now I'm going in with 2 extra Colourpop lip products. The first one is a lipstick, and this is in the shade Cinnamon. It's a cream or creme shade. It's just a beautiful neutral brown. I'm hoping it's not getting thrown off at all. So I'm going to go in with that, and then let me put that on first so you can see what that's like. So as you can see, it's kind of like just that mid-tone brown, but almost with like an almost yellowy golden undertone to it. It's kind of like 90s grunge, if you like, but like reworked. I really think that's so pretty. But I do want to go in with something a little bit lighter in the centre, and I'm going in with this new liquid lipstick, also from Colourpop, but it's part of the new Shayla collaboration, and this is in the shade Slow Down. It's also available on Cocoon Beauty, and this is a satin lip, so it's not matte, and I'm just going to put that right in the centre. It's kind of like a peachy brown nude shade, and I've just been craving something peachy brown and not pinky brown, even though I've just showed you other pinky shades. It's really hard to kind of find peachy colours that work really well. So I think that is my lip look, you all. Yeah, so I think that's me done. I would typically do a cutaway here and then show me with like all my hair and everything finished. But actually, honestly, I am just kind of like finishing to get myself together. I've still got to feed my daughter dinner tonight, and then I'm going to get ready and go out with Hubs for dinner and some drinks, I think. So I will catch you in my next video. So thanks so much for hanging out. It was lovely to kind of just sit here and be relaxed and do my makeup while we catch up. Drop me a comment down below. So it's now August, it's ridiculous. So drop me a comment down below and let me know what you're really looking forward to over the rest of this year, because we've only got a few months left. So let me know what you're excited about. I'd love to know, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.